this enchanted love of ours.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is. And each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted love of ours. This enchanted love of ours.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.
We should do maybe something like a whole week here so we really can.
Of course.
Really
Yeah. Just relaxing.
It's like we're just getting everybody together now. We're starting kind of recognizing our energies are kind of now connecting a little bit because we came from all different places.
Yeah.
And this is beautiful right now. It's just our new family right here.
Most definitely. Your cosmic family. You found your cosmic family.
Yeah.
Here on this plane. You know what I'm saying?
On this plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Feels good, right?
Food for the
Oh
deer.
my goodness. It's,
Yes.
The deer
I think it's,
eat
when I came up,
and,
just tears started coming to my eyes.
that's
Yeah.
the
Do you know why?
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling anything,
Yeah.
but I was feeling something.
Most definitely. Let it take place.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Greetings, everyone. This is Metaphysic Speaks in the spirit of Dr. Dilbert Blair, and this is your host, Tony. I hope that you're doing well within your space and time. I mentioned time. There is only 1,440 minutes in a day. No matter what your belief system is or who you may pray to, you're not going to get even 1 minute more added to your life. So use your time wisely. So before we get started here, I hope you have your favorite beverage of choice. My beverage tonight, or during this event, it's experience that we'll be having here, it's just some water. So I just have some water here, but I do hope you have your favorite beverage of choice, no matter what that may be, as we have our conversation and we cosmically connect, because tonight is a little bit different. We will be, or you will be seeing the adventure that we went on last year in June during the Superhuman Journey Session 6. And also you're going to be hearing testimonials from those people who, at least some of those people who are on the journey. People traveled all across spaces and time to be there, not only from the United States. We had a few that were from the West Indies, and even one who was from Canada. So people came from all over during a time where, for the most part, everyone was in the house. You know, we know what was going on, and so nevertheless, let me get straight into it here. These experiences only come around in certain times, and typically only for a short time. A call is put out through the reality, And it is up to those who see it to decide within them, with themselves, that is, without being sold to or entertained, does what is offered seem like something you would like to be a part of? Based on the information only. That is it. It's either a yes or a no. It is not a yes with tons of caveats and excuses. You are in safe environments. The spaces have been cosmically secured and guarded by those on Mount High. You would literally be in one of the safest spaces on the planet at the time, with some of the most powerful guardians the universe has to offer, protecting those souls who took the red pill. It is much deeper than just going to a vortex. Anyone can go to a vortex. And even if they are, let's say, a holy person or they are a ratchet, it will do some rearrangements if needed. But just as there is grade school, first you have elementary, then you have grade school, then high school, then university, in grad school, there's levels to it. Okay? And to pass each level, there are tests. And not only that, some doors of some of those tests have a specific combination to enter. So, whether it be internal bias, where one feels only a person of a certain age can talk about certain subjects, or, and because I mean, you heard stories, right? Like there are people who come to these classes at times, and these are people I knew 20 years ago. Okay? Some even a bit, maybe a little bit longer than that. And it would say, yeah, this dude, you know, he was talking this way and he was doing these things back then. And you know what the older people used to say to me back then? Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, right? When I knew what it was. And we're not talking about some strange egoism, okay? We say, like, let's give you a clear-cut example. Like, let's just say, why aren't you taking care of your children? Why aren't you doing what you're supposed to do for your children? Something as simple as that. Sometimes it went much deeper than that, but something as simple as that. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure I do. And now all these years later, those same people, if they're even still around, they just look tweaked out. You know what I'm saying? They were purposely trying to put out incorrect thought forms for whatever reason. And so I mentioned about internal bias and how some people may say that certain people of a certain age can't talk about certain subjects, or whether it be many have the program that only those of a certain hue, racial type, can be of the high council. These internal thought forms are known, and the reason why most are not allowed into the higher spaces, because those types of thought forms are cancerous. Okay? The Creator would purposely, see, I don't know which one I want to say first, but the Creator would purposely have someone come down who says everything that needs to be said, how it should be, and it slices through the reality like butter. And if you read it on paper, you would be 100% on board. But because it came as a man and you expected a woman, you ignore it. Because it came as a young person instead of an old person, you ignore it. Because it came as a person of this racial group instead of the one you internally respect for whatever reason, you ignore it. Absolutely superficial. And these types are the best of what most spaces are offering, since they can at least notice that certain information is divinely inspired. Those who are below them energetically, vibrationally, have to be convinced, sold to, entertained, to be moved in one direction or another, whether even it is for their benefit. Still, they have to. All these things have to happen. You have to be dancing on camera. You have to be making jokes. You have to be in some type of squabble. Okay, so they're like, yeah, that person's real. For them to do anything. And when you don't do any of that, you say, here. 99% of them don't respect that and don't tend to be a part of those things at all, which is good, though. It's a good thing, because they weren't, obviously, you weren't meant to. Your cycles, you're going to need to go through many more cycles before you are able just to see something you like and able to move just by seeing it. So on Instagram, for example, from people selling herbs to to all sorts of this other products or services, typically they usually surround some type of natural type of thing. But they could deal with even cruises or just all types of stuff. You will see these types jiggling, I'm not going to be too graphic here, but jiggling body parts on camera to entice via sexual energy, which is witchery. Okay? Because they're trying to entice you, and they know the power of sexuality right now. They just call that marketing. In this reality, in this time, via the low-level energies that surround us, they say, oh, this is very good marketing. Okay? Marketing, in many cases, in many things of marketing, is actually witchery. It's professional witchery, literally. But that's another story for another day. But so they're trying to entice via sexual energy, and it works. Whether it's a male doing it, typically you see a female doing it much more, because even if a male is semi-naked on camera, it attracts, but the attraction could be a little bit different for different reasons, which I'm not going to get into. But of course, you typically see the female of the species, showing the body parts with selling products or services that have nothing to do with them actually why they should be doing that. Okay? But you see what people are willing to do to convince people of something, to grab their attention, right? Listen to that, to grab their attention. Right? They literally are going within your consciousness, literally, and taking hold and grabbing your attention. It's actually almost like a form of rape, literally. Okay? The Creator is not going to grab your attention. He's not going to go inside of your essence and try to take or steal your essence. It gives notice. It's up to you to notice the notice. If you do, then fantastic. It will lead you further along on this yellow brick road. If not, then you just don't. And certain opportunities could be once in a lifetime, even once in a generation, because there are once in a lifetime opportunities, especially those who are listening right now on the line, who may be older. You may literally recall an opportunity you may have had when you were younger that was once in a lifetime. Hopefully you took advantage of it, but you might not have. But you still notice it was once in a lifetime. Then there are those opportunities that may be once in a generation. Okay? And not even a generation of a people or species, but a generation of this generation of the entire Earth, let's just say. Because Earth could be put into generations as well. And when this comes up, it may only pop up, like you may be in the United States and it may pop up in China. And of course you could say, but how do I know? Well, that's the point. You may not know. And it may be only once in a generation opportunity. Literally. Okay? So, So during these classes, because they were created a very specific way, which we're going to get into some aspects of it momentarily here, but I want to get through some important parts just for the audience to see, so we can all be on the same page here as we move forward. Because, like, let me give you an example here. Depending upon, everyone awakens, which I'm going to end up doing a later podcast on this, because people need to know the deeper aspects of what I'm not only going to hint to here. But people are here on different levels, right? And sometimes opportunities present itself, and these are divine opportunities to speed one along much faster, so that, let's say, for example, if we charted the course of your soul and it says that, well, because of how aware you are and how you are cosmically configured, and because of how you may have some stubbornness or however is embedded within you, that for whatever reason you hold on to it and you don't allow it to dissipate, that it's going to take you 800 cycles before you reach nirvana. Okay? For this person over here, it may take them 10,000 cycles before they reach nirvana, for whatever reason. And that's actually okay. It's not anything wrong with that. That's you. If it takes you that long, that's you. Okay? But another person over here may take them 100 cycles. A person over here may take them 10 cycles. Okay? Now, what tends to happen when these types of energetic, generational type of changes are put forth, and this is just deeper, this is much deeper than just session 6, which you will see here momentarily. What the Creator would do is create circumstances to test you, to see, are you worthy? Okay? Let me give you an example. A person called, this is during like session 1 or 2 years ago, and called and asked me, he's like, I've seen this on the website. I'm interested. Can anyone come? Well, and I said, yes, if you have interest, then come. So the person actually was pretty go-getter. Like, the person immediately bought a ticket. They immediately purchased a flight, immediately purchased a hotel. Now, typically, many of you know that I tend to post these events anywhere from 3 to 6 months ahead of time. And most people wait till the midway point or later, sometime even a week, 2 weeks beforehand, to purchase a ticket and everything else. But this person did it immediately. It was only like on the website for like 2 or 3 days. Okay. So I'm like, man, okay. Don't really see that type of certainty amongst the populace, even not just the spiritual genre, but in all types of genres, whether it be business, whether it be just all types of stuff. Okay. So nevertheless, the person missed it. They missed the class. And let me tell you the reason why they missed the class. The Creator created a test for this person. And what happened was, in this test, an old friend called this person that he's a male, so he hasn't spoke to this person in like over 10 years. No emails, no Facebook, no phone calls, nothing. Okay, haven't spoken to this person in 10 years. The person called them and said that he needed to see him now. Like, this is the day before the trip. Okay, so this person is like leaving out the next day, and that's what the flight was. And they were leaving at a time where it's like they couldn't miss that flight, okay, because it would be no later flights to get them to the class in time. So this person called them. It was a good friend of them from years ago, and I haven't spoken to him though in 10 years. But this person was frantic and needed to see him immediately, okay? And immediately was the day that the flight was. The person went back and forth in their head. Now, I didn't know any of this until afterwards. The person ended up calling me because I sent them an email like, hey, I see you missed the class. Is everything okay? because this person was really, seemed to be really into wanting to come and learn about the subject matter. And so when he told me that he went to this friend, the friend said he just wanted to see him. That's it. Nothing life-threatening at all, even though the person made it life-threatening, because the person told me close to almost exactly what the person had said to him. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I mean, that seems maybe important, whatever, but it's your decision. And the person said, anyway, when we had a conversation, noticed that that it was a big mistake. And from that point to now, the person's been kind of like going downhill. And that's what happens at times. Because remember, if you're coming to a space that's going to, like, so instead of, so the example I gave about the cycles, right? How a person may naturally evolve or naturally reach nirvana within however many cycles it takes their soul to get there. Well, something like this, let's say it was going to take you 800 cycles. Now, if you were to truly do what is needed and understand what is being presented, now instead of 800 cycles, now it's going to take you only 10 cycles. You see? But you're going to be tested. The test is not going to come from me. No. The tests are going to come from the Creator, and it's not going to put you in harm's way. You will never be touched. Okay? You don't know that, because certain circumstances could seem like, oh man, I'm about to be harmed, but no, you're not going to be touched. But it's to see if you are, look at what you're trying to come to. Okay? So, another person, this person is in Chicago, for example. So the person is here. Most of the events, we did travel across the country for some of the events, but the majority of them either were in Chicago or the repeat of them were in Chicago. Okay? And so this person is in Chicago. Should have came to every single one of them. I knew this person personally, and this person had all types of ups and downs always going on in their life. Always. Majority of them shouldn't be going through at all. This is the type of person that really realistically, because the person's intelligent. Okay? I mean, literally. Okay? And the person, he does have some spiritual fortitude, but for whatever reason wants to suffer. So this person, let's say, naturally may, after 400 cycles, may reach nirvana. But because of their wanting to suffer, it's 2,000 cycles, right? And I looked at this person and said, you know what? You know these classes I'm having. And because I knew this person personally, and it would change your life forever. You just got to work through what you're working through, and when you hear a class, you just need to come. Of course, every single time there was these major life-like events happening. Every single time. And I mentioned to this person that these circumstances you're going through, if you came to a class, you will immediately, you're immediately, as many people have said throughout all, if you go listen to the testimonials of some of the other classes in the past, it's like they immediately got a jolt of energy, a charge that it's like, it's very strange, because it's like, it's just information. Even though you're seeing things, you're seeing actual telepathy experiments, telekinesis, and so on and so forth. Even though you're seeing certain things, yes, it blows your mind, but at the same time, why do I feel way up here? Should it have blown my mind that much? Why am I way up there? Why am I was in my root stock. I'm still going through the cycles that are within the root chakra, and yet now I'm in the crown. How did it take me up there like that? How am I feeling these explosions, these orgasmic explosions in my brain? What is going on here? And so nevertheless, the person kept making a multitude of excuses, and the person's life is not good at all. Okay? The last example I'm going to give is a person that came to quite a few of them. And I was looking at this person. I was me and this through certain cosmic communication. I was put it like that. It was interesting because everyone's being tested. Everyone's going through some things, even to come to the class. These people even come to class every single time. And they would tell you like, man, yeah, every life goes absolutely perfect. My life is perfect. Nothing happens. But then all of a sudden when I want to come to a class and initiate it, weirdness just starts happening. Not with me internally, but in my environment, or just people I know that start getting really strange and creating circumstances which try to prevent me from going. But of course I power through and I go anyway. And it always ends up perfect, and it was always well worth it. And you can tell, these people could tell 100% those were just tests that were trying to see, are these going to keep you from raising higher vibration? Is it or not? So again, in this last example here, in cosmic conversation, I was wondering what was going on, because this specific person wasn't tested or being tested at all. And that was a little odd. But then eventually this person was tested. And when I seen the test, I clapped to the creator and said, just wow. Because, oh man. Now, many of those who come to the sessions, they know of this. They know of this example firsthand. Because this person, as this person was being tested, this person called different people within who come to the sessions on a regular basis. And when the person told this story to them, they like, bruh, this is women and men, okay? We're like, I think you need to meditate on what you're thinking. I think you need to reevaluate what you're thinking. I think you need to, you're tweaking. Just straight, someone said you're straight, just tweaking, you know? And so, yeah, this person went to all these random people within, calling this person, calling that person within those people who attend more on a regular basis. And they all said the same thing in their way. You would think that would be enough for that person to see through it, but nope. And they failed. And I think because the creator, these tests, that's why you trust the process, no matter what level you're on. Even if you are, for those who may listen to this way down the line in the future, okay? Whether you are a student or whether you have raised it to a level where you are cosmically oriented, that trust the process, no matter which level you're on, okay? Because first off, you're not going to allow anything stupid or crazy to take place, right? Past a certain point. Anyway, you're not even going to allow. But the creator will not allow certain people to get certain information, because each class gave a specific element. But the most powerful, the ones that most people want to go to, is not only 6, but the invitation only session 7. And you're going to see the different things that each one gives. Session 7 is the cream of the crop. It is the icing on the cake. It is literally if you came through 1 through 6, session 7 is the one you want to come to. That's like, yes, that's the one. Because from that point, it goes into other sessions that are not publicized at all. So, trust the process. I am personally so happy to all of you who will be listening to this, who actually travel from so far to come to these events, and coming for the right reasons. There was quite a few people who came for the wrong reasons, whether it be they came to gain a certain aspect of power, or whether they came because of trying to obtain material gain, or whether they came because of just pure manipulation or low-level sexual stuff or whatever it may be. They came for the entirely wrong reason. Only thing you should have came for is that you've seen some information that you were interested in, and that's it. Someone say, what about, should I have any expectations? No. Why you should have any expectations for? Even if it's, man, I hope this is good, gonna be good. Why? Not even that. No. The topics interest you, right? Yes. Let me give you a personal example. There have been, I don't do that at all. So I have no expectations nowhere I go. Don't need to. Why? What is for me is for me. Okay? So there's been many times where I've paid $500, $1,000, $2,000 for a course or a class, this is an in-person class, of course, that on that flyer, most of, I may have even known. Sometimes even all of it I know, but the speaker is who I was coming for. Because I know the speaker, in the different subjects that I may have been going to, I know this speaker is out the box, or the speaker has a very specific skill set. And I just want to hear what this person has to say. Even though what the person has on the flyer, yes, I know everything there. In some of these cases, I knew everything that was on the flyer. But that person was divinely unique. And I just want to be there. Like, this is even going back to like the Grand Master, Dr. Dilla Blair. People used to ask me all the time, like, did you ask him this and ask him that and this and that? No. Most of the time when me and Dr. Blair were together, we were sitting on the couch, just talking about not what a person would think we would be talking about. I just put it like that. You know, sometimes we did talk about those types of subjects, whether it be, aliens or whatever it may be, that people have this interest in. But 99% of the time, it wasn't that. But this is a natural thing. See, I didn't have to be told to do that. See, that's why I'm going to do a future podcast and get into, which I mentioned this on a previous podcast, a soul's journey. But I didn't really get really deep into it. Okay? How a soul just needs to be allowed to travel to gain what they need to gain and come to awareness, and how they come to awareness. Not force or anything like that, and they need to be how they need to be genuinely. Lastly here, these events that you're going to see here, which I'm going to talk about here momentarily, the different events that progress over the years to session 7, which is a few weeks away. The price of the events were super low. Some of them were only $30. Okay. And many people have said, many times that sometimes they were worried. Like literally, they were concerned. Like they would say to me after the class, privately, on a phone call, whatever, that, man, the class should have been like $500. I went to a $1,000 class, and the person who was this person, which is a notable person, they didn't even give even 1/4 of what you gave in the class. And you should charge more than what you're charging. I tell these people, it's for a reason. So, like some of the classes, I came out of my own pocket to make sure that the space is secure and everything else. But most importantly is session 6. Session 6, we had a really nice limousine, coach kind of bus. The venue, we had a tour guide. Everything was laid out and went perfectly. Not including the superhuman information, because that's private, and there's nowhere, maybe in some temples in the Far East, some of it is talked about, but nowhere in the public sphere at all. And so not including that, can't include that. Just the tour itself, just going up to the mountains and going to different spaces within that space. You could find costs of $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for that type of experience, traveling in that type of luxury, etc. And guess what? That price is not bad. That's a good price. $1,500. Say even $1,000. If you find it for $1,000, take it. Go. Now you're just getting a tour. You're not getting a superhuman experience, but still, go. That's a good price. The price was only $225 because I subsidize a lot of the cost to keep it low. I wanted to keep the price extremely low. That it gave me back a little bit. I still came out a lot, but I wanted people to come. It had to be some cost because that's the way it works. Nothing's in this space is for free. And beware if anybody wants to take from you for free. Nothing's for free. Even if you are a farmer and you want to grow some food, even if you're going to have to sow some seed, you're going to get out there and put in that sweat, right? That sweat equity, as they call it, sweat equity. And then eventually you sow. But they want something for you for free. Even when it comes to a lot of people these days, because of the what's going on economically and with the food systems, are creating these in-house hydroponic systems and stuff like that. That's your sweat equity. Okay? You putting forth the sweat equity, you're learning, even mentally could be sweat equity, okay? Mentally, physically. You're putting forth this sweat equity and you're learning, you're putting together this gadget, you're doing what you're doing, and so you can grow some food, right? And then you reap what you sow. So the price couldn't be free, no, but $225 to have this out-the-box experience, and all of this was posted on the website. I have pictures of the coach limousine, I had pictures of the places we're going to go, what you would learn. But of course, it was presented to give notice. It wasn't like dancing in front of the camera or to entertain. You have interest or you're not. Now, some people, again, came from Canada, came from the West Indies, and someone went to the superhuman session because that's the most important, and some didn't come to on the actual tour, but they came. In my hand, you know who you are. A hand clap to you. Keep pushing forward within your space. Okay? So, continuing on here. The price was low purposely. I didn't want people prohibited because of price. It was just that important. So I sacrificed and subsidized a lot of the costs. For what was offered, typically, let's say some type of supposed guru came that is well recognized, that, that wants to be looked at as the one, ego through the roof, that type of guru, right? Which, we all know they're everywhere, right? That person would charge, let's say, $3,000 for whatever guru various, and it's really not as high up information that they think it is, but whatever guru information you're going to say, and to take you on a trip. And even at that price, it's a good price, okay, for what they would do. If it was exactly the same, but their own guru inspired information, stuff like that, because you're going to get something out of it that you may not have known, okay? But just make sure they don't try to bring you into some type of cult. So with that, $2,500, $3,000, and it would be, and guess what? That would be a good price, and people would pay it. But this person would convince you, and entertain you, and dance for you to try to get you there. It was only $225. And you're going to see here shortly, as we go tonight, video of just different things that we've seen together. And so, So with that, now let's get into some of the actual events that took place to bring us to this point. So, what you see here on the screen here is, for example, session 1. Session 1 happened in 2017. At that point, I didn't call it a superhuman session at that point. Eventually I did, but the tickets for this course was only $30. And the chakra that it brought you through, all the lessons of, okay, the way the information was presented and everything else, which I'm not going to tell how, that's most definitely sacred, but it brought you through the root chakra. And it also gave you a spiritual piece of armor, and that was your helmet, okay? And that was only $30. And so the next one was in, again, it was later in 2017. So the first one was in August of 2017. The next one was for session 2, was in November of 2017. And it now pushed you through the sacral chakra. And the piece of armor that it gave you spiritually was the breastplate. The cost of this was, let's say, $65. The next one, which was in 2018, it was in June of 2018. This one was the manifestation of Jedi. And again, some of the topics there, sometimes I reuse certain topics and something like that, but it was always different and went into all different things. It passed you through the throat chakra. Now you say, well, the different chakras, yes, but I changed, it was different reasons why certain chakras we passed through in that order. So this one sent you through the throat chakra and the lessons thereof. And it gave you the armor, okay? The next one, which was session 4, it was in May of 2019. It took you through the heart chakra, and it gave you the leg armor. Of course, again, it was $65. It was a repeat of session 4, okay, also, and that was in August of 2019. Cost was still $65, and again, it was the heart chakra, gave leg armor, and many people, and again, a hand clap to you all. There are a few people that even if they came to session 4, the first one, they came to the repeat. They came to all of them because it was just that important. They even come to the repeat. So, session 5. This one was in Baltimore, and it was in 2019, October of 2019, and it took you through the solar plexus. And what you gained was willpower. So that one wasn't armor directly in a spiritual sense, but it was a specific attribute. And that's if you. It's not that you just come and you just gain it. No, that's if you actually are practicing and actually doing what you are supposed to do, which I'm not going to get into here. But if you're doing that, you gain a certain piece of armor or ability in time. The next one was a repeat of session 5, which again was the solar plexus chakra and willpower. And that was in Chicago. Okay, now this is in April 11th of 2020. Okay, so of course the streets were completely empty. Literally, it was beautiful traveling. I went to some sacred spaces during this time. You can call them vortexes, whatever. And it was beautiful getting there because usually there's obstacles getting to certain places because of what it is. There's guards at the door and stuff like that. The guards were still there, but all just the nonsensical behavior of people was not there at all. So it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Sorry, y'all. It took me. I just got taken back into some of those spaces during this particular time. So that was April 11th, 2020, and this was a repeat. It was $65, and then of course, session 6, which we passed through the third eye chakra, and this gave the sword and shield. And this is of course, the superhuman experience in California. We went to Mount Shasta. All right. Again, the experience itself was $100, and Mount Shasta tour and everything included with that really was only $125. Together, $225. Okay. Just to give you an idea, just to drive up to, let's say if you're, depending on where you're at in Cali, if you're like in LA, whatever, driving up to Mount Shasta and back will potentially cost you, depending upon your car, of course, but around $100, $150 in gas. You get what I'm saying? So, let's pass on here. And of course, the upcoming session 7, which is in the classified location, classified information, but that one we are passing through the crown chakra. And everyone who's coming this event, they have, again, some people have been to all of them, some people haven't, okay? But based on the conversations that we've been having personally, and me knowing what's happening, their participation with the Meta Center and stuff like that as well, they have done enough work where they have been deemed worthy to come. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that they'll go past this point, but they were deemed worthy to come. And I want to give a hand clap to those people as well. Yes. And so, and in this one, again, we're going through the crown chakra, and you're getting the attribute is the word. Okay? The word. Which is one of the most powerful attributes, is even more powerful than the sword and shield. Okay? So I thank the Creator for keeping out the tweakers, the ratchets, and all the rest of those types of entities, because they cannot get this. Okay? And I thank the Creator for bringing together people who, it makes my heart flutter when I think about it. Brings a bit of emotion. In this lifetime, I've met so many wonderful people on this journey. Man. And it's not even just those people who did exactly what they're supposed to do, but even people who didn't, because it taught certain lessons. And trust the process. Yes, you can get tired of it. Yes, you may want this or want that, and you want it now. And maybe you actually should have it now. But for whatever reason, the Creator is delaying it. Or, they don't take the word delay. Let's not even say that. The Creator is just putting the pieces in place so that it can be exactly the way it needs to be for you. That's a better way of looking at it. Because it's not a delay at all. Because who knows, if you prematurely jumped into something, you may be physically harmed. When one is truly in grace, they may go through ups and downs now. They may. But they're never harmed. And thanks to the Creator for that. So, and of course, you're going to see here a picture of the transportation that we were all, the vessel that we were all in, and you're going to see a view of the inside. I should have took more pictures. I thought I actually did, but I couldn't locate them at the time, so it is what it is when I was making this. But you see a glimpse of the inside. And so it was very spacious, very relaxing. And for those wondering, even if it's just to take you all to the different vortexes, that superhuman sessions, that's a different story. Everything's in this space and time. There's more time with that. Everything has its proper time And because certain alignments happened when we did these sessions as well, we were within certain astrological alignments, and it was purposely made that way. And so who knows if I'll repeat. I am doing one-on-one sessions on the website, but there are prerequisites to that. And just because you have the money to pay for it doesn't mean I'm going to allow it. I may refund your money right back. Okay, so there's certain prerequisites with that. But at the very least, those who want to, because you will still get something out of it being with not only like-minded people, but, you know, when we sit down in different spaces and meditate, and the stories that are told, and you're still going to get massive upgrades. Okay? So as I mentioned previously, before we begin going directly into tonight's presentation, that it's not just about going to the vortexes. Anybody could go to at least the major vortexes. And even the most ratchet of person, male or female, will get some type of change, but it tends to cause more issues with them because it opens a hole, and that hole needs to be filled. And because they're not truly working on they didn't come for the right reasons, and they're not working on things the way it needs to or supposed to be worked on, that hole now is filled with more issues and problems, and it becomes more powerful. But so it's not just about going to a vortex. Many of you read in The Alchemist's Journey and Ascent many pilgrimages that I've been on, okay? And those were alone. But I tell you something here. Being a part of, during this cycle, this group, being a part of it, because it's not just people are just there for me, I'm just floating in the sky, and no, I'm there and I'm enjoying the uniqueness of everyone involved. And many times my eyes became watery. My child likes to say that at times. Instead of saying crying, or when certain high vibrational emotions were to hit him, he would say, my eyes are filling with water, like that. So anyways, my eyes were filling with water, and just because it's just seeing people who, because it was a lot to get there. You know, it was a whole lot going on. The world is going crazy. The world is shut down. Those who are on the dark side, let's just say, the Sith, have made a move. And, you know, this moves they always have made. There's nothing new in that regard, but they really put it forefront so everyone can see it, unless you are literally have your head in the sand. And people are frightened, but people still made it anyway. We're going to Sacramento. It was actually tanks on the street. It was literally the military were walking around with their AR-15s, whatever guns they have. They were walking around, like literally. You look outside the hotel and you see them marching up and down the streets. Literally, tanks, troop carriers, all over the place in Sacramento. And yet, we were unmolested, traveling. Everybody was waving to us like they're here, literally. I just wish that, it is what it is. People who came, but there were some souls that should have seen it. It would have changed their life for eternity. And those who came for the wrong reasons, why did you come for those reasons? You could have literally been a part, because it's not just going to a place. Like I've been to many pilgrimages, spaces that if I described them, it would blow your mind. But in many times, it's who you're with, what you're sharing together. Oh man, that's, man. And there's many aspects of the trip that I have not spoken on, and many aspects of it that you're not going to even hear testimonials that went on. Those of you know, like when we was on the mountain, what we heard, okay, and everything else. So, anyhow, if there is ever for the people who are listening to this, if you're enjoying it even thus far, before we even get into the meat of it all, and if there's ever a time where an actual superhuman session is offered, I don't care where you're at in the world, make it, okay? Even if it's just like most of the sessions were just information only, we didn't go like to a vortex or anything. Now we're going to vortexes all the time, each and every time, because of very specific reasons, and it's done a very specific way. Like we're going to a vortex in a few weeks here for session 7, which I'm not going to name where and anything like that, but it's for a specific reason, because it has to happen in a specific order to do very specific things to you. So even if it's just coming to Chicago, come. All right. I'm not sure if I ever will. I am doing one-on-one, but that's, that's just that. So without further ado, I thank you for listening to my portion of this, and we're about to get into the meat of it now. So thank you for listening, and here we go.
Make a smile for me.
Oh man, so it was just, I went in, like, first of all, I won't miss, a superhuman experience if I'm able to be there. Like, it's just something that once you say that, hey, that we're putting out experience, like I just make it a point to be there, because it's like you said, you're like upgrading. You get around, like-minded individuals, and the energy is just crazy. This weekend took it to a whole nother level, being that it was a 2-day weekend or 2-day event, and we went to Mount Shasta. But, going into it, like, I really didn't have any expectations. I looked up what Mount Shasta was about, saw that it was the root chakra, and then it kind of just ended there, because I was like, I don't want to, go in with expectations. I was like, just let what happens happen. So, getting there, got to, Sacramento, and from the moment, we got into that building, it was different than the normal previous 2 sessions that I went to. It's a much larger venue. We're all dressed in white, which is, different, so we didn't meditate before, which, was different than the last 2 sessions, because you did the sound bowl, but it was fine. It was perfect. But like, so the information that you presented, with session 6, was really profound, because it created some more questions, to ask, but it also put everything in perspective, where, I was like, okay, things are kind of making sense as far as like how reality or our society is like structured. The group dynamic was really awesome, because we had a nice mix of individuals that have been to previous sessions. Then a lot of people that this is their first session, and then also individuals that have done work with Master Climate. So that was cool, because I feel that, especially like this whole experience, I felt being that I did a session with Master Climate before, and like I cleared out a lot of energies. I felt like I was more receptive to like the energy of this weekend. But yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, then you get there and like we're in the middle of downtown Sacramento, and I remember as soon as we walked outside, that guy came by and he gave us a pamphlet about consciousness. So, you know, that was really, that was really interesting. As soon as we walk outside, you know, this guy gives us, and then right after that, the military walks by, you know, with their AR-15s. So it's just like, so we're out here, you know, upgrading ourselves. And meanwhile, the outside world is literally, you know, in a frenzy, you know. So, you know, later that day they had the huge protest in downtown Sacramento, and you got the Army tanks like a block away from our hotel. So it was a weird, like, or well, not even weird, just an interesting juxtaposition of like everything that was going on, because we're vibrating on this level, and then like literally the outside world is just like vibrating on a different frequency. So that was very interesting to just like kind of observe. And then I actually went to the riot, the protest to see what was happening. And then Mount Shasta, man, you know, that day that we went there, it just, you know, from the bus ride, you know, we were all just, it was just a different vibe getting there, and then to get on the mountain, and you know, we all just kind of, you know, went our separate spaces and did our thing, and I definitely felt the energy on Mount Shasta, and you know, it was just a beautiful feeling, man, just all around, and all the little things that were happening around us, where it seemed like it was going to like pour down raining. Well, we went to what was that because it was like we're walking up that trail, and I'm just like, man, this is about to like storm, and then all of a sudden the cloud just disappears, and the sun's back out, which was just like, what? So that was really cool, and just like, you know, interesting to observe, and you know, like talking to the locals when we went to that stream to go get some water, and like talking to the locals and hearing their perspective on Mount Shasta. You know, just the dialogue, and the caves. The caves were, oh my gosh, the caves were just like that was it for me. Like the caves and the conversations that we had, like late at night, like after Friday when we were back in the hotel, and then Saturday back in the hotel. Those are the two highlights for me. The caves just felt like you were like Indiana Jones. You were exploring, and you know, our guide, he was telling us how this is like a huge vortex, and you know, I took a bunch of pictures, and like all the pictures I took, you know, they would have some, well, not all of them, but a lot of them had like these, you know, beings in the pictures, and like, you know, vortex lines, and then even our guy, man, like, you know, he afterwards, him, you know, kind of getting emotional while he talked to us. He talked to us for like 10 minutes, you know, and telling us like this is the best group he's ever had in 25 years, and you know how special our group was. Not even knowing why we were there, but he just, you know, just felt it. So I know I'm kind of probably leaving some stuff out, but it was just, yeah, it was just really a really, like, you know, magical experience. And then afterwards, my flight got canceled, and just randomly, you know, you always say there's no such thing as a coincidence, but what's interesting about that is on my way heading back to, because I flew out of San Francisco, on my way heading out, I used to live in San Francisco, so I was driving to the airport, and I'm like, man, it'd be cool to stay one more day in San Francisco. I get to the airport, and my flight's canceled. Literally, they said it was canceled a month ago. No notification. They moved it to the next day, so I had to stay in San Francisco an extra day. and had a great time. Actually made like a video that I put out on Instagram, and that video inspired some people and whatnot. I ended up connecting with people, and but something just told me like just make a video, you know, because I was just still on a high right now. But man, it's I don't know, I do know it's a magical experience. There's no other way to describe it besides saying it was magical. Yeah, I know that was a long-winded answer, but yeah, super dope. Yeah.
And so my question to you is, how does the superhuman experiences compare to the multitude of events that you have been to, not only in this country and also in the world?
They don't compare to it, man. They really don't. And like you said, I've done like a 10-day solid meditation retreat. I've done different seminars. I've been on even just like trips where like I went to a really cool one, and I think it was like 2013. But it was on a really cool beach in the Bay Area or somewhere in California. And it was just a very great experience. It wasn't spiritual or nothing, but it was just really good hearted people. We ended the weekend by making a campfire on the water on the beach, and just a super cool vibe. But this was just on another level, man, and I really don't feel like anybody. The only people that would really get it are the people that were there, you know, because it's really hard to put it in words, the feeling. You know, it's like sometimes we want to put feelings into words, but like some feelings you really just can't describe. And that's what this felt like, because it was just like everything that, like, all the superhuman sessions were good, but this was just like, this was it. This was it. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. It was it. It was that us coming together, getting the information. Like, if it would have ended just on Friday, it would have still been good. But the totality of it, of going to Mount Shasta, the energy of Mount Shasta, the community, like, you know, us really like connecting, and just the vibes, and like it was just like a perfect alignment of everything. Our tour guide was just like, I don't know what he was on. I mean, he just felt like he was on like a cosmic being that was just supposed to be there for us. And you like you said, we all left, you know, upgraded, and it's still on this high, you know. With just I don't know if I'll come down from it, because like I look at myself and I'm just like, I feel different. I just look at the world differently, you know, and you know, some of the stuff that we talked about back at the hotel, you know, and you know, going home and really, you know, meditating on that and thinking about that, you're like, whoa, like this was something. Like, this wasn't just a trip for us to just, you know, come and get some information. Like, this was something else. And I think everybody that went there felt that, you know, because yeah, it was just different. It was different. Like, it was cosmic. So yeah, they don't compare, because this is on a whole different level.
Okay, sure. I like to tell it in a short story, so I'll start. You know, it's hard work living in the compressed areas like a major city. So after my hike in Mount Shasta, of higher altitudes from ground zero, you know, my higher self greeted me. Those moments, it was only us and the source of creation. And I, my higher self, and the Creator are one. I had no other thoughts that would normally occur when I'm on ground zero, for instance. The worries, the thought pattern of concerns about financial woes, employment, or independent work matters, or even emotional and mental challenges, which I soothe with a box of donuts or pizza and French fries sometimes. But, having off-the-wall thinking with these made-up stories about myself or relationship patterns that run like a race in my mind. So before my hike in Mount Shasta, I did start observing my thoughts, and I would say to these thoughts, where did you come from? So many days I would ask this, and I finally experienced the direct connection to Source, and it was revealed that those thoughts are not my own. It's the compression area in which I live. It is all that I consume, like my foods and everything that's not aligned with nature, the stagnant relationship energies and so on and so forth. So at this higher altitude, these thoughts cannot travel there. They are forbidden to enter the womb, the heavens. Unfortunately, though, coming back down to ground level zero, it seemed as though those thoughts knew where to find me and started attaching themselves to my energy field. Interestingly, I observed that not all those thoughts attached back. But I feel so physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and actually stronger in strength. And I'm actually very much focused now. It's much work to keep my energy field balanced when living in these compressed areas. So I realize because the collective thoughts and energies that I'm surrounded by are robbing me of my hard work that I'm doing for myself. So I realize on this journey that it must be a constant practice to stay consistent in my meditations, in balanced dietary lifestyle, giving honorings and payments to Mother Nature, exercising my body, and elevating my mind, and so on and so forth. So I'll leave it right there for now, and I'm looking forward to the next journey. Holding. It's just the presence of being connected to Source that you can just really feel that, because, like I said,
yeah, you didn't even realize that your mind was clear. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what I really needed, and I really just felt light. It's just an indescribable feeling that I still carry with me, and I'm glad that I had the chance to experience, because now I feel like I know how to journey to the center to become balanced.
Overall, man, it was breathtaking, to say the least. Like, me being, where I'm from and going into the mountains, it was refreshing. It was, and a humbling experience, because, like I said, I'm coming where I come from, and just to be able to spiritually be on that level, to connect with so many different other people who are looking to experience the same thing, maybe a few other things differently, but overall, just the base of it all, just that experience to go into the mountains, and then to be in Cali for one, man, it was beautiful. Like, I felt like I was really in heaven, because it was so many people that I was able to engage with, and it wasn't like a drop off on the frequency. It was just continuously rising and rising, and it was cool. It was real cool. Like, man, I felt like I got a big piece of me back in my life. Like, I feel like my true self after this whole Superhuman 6 session experience. A few things that stuck out to me in the class session was when we did discuss the catacombs, when we discussed the wars that's been going on for over, I guess you could say, the past 400 years, or even further back to that. And when we discussed the Messiah and what it'd take for the Messiah to become the Messiah, and you know, all the things that he would have to do right, or she would have to do right in order to reach that, I guess you can say, that level, that Messiah level, like. And when we spoke about the correlation between the oracle and the witch, those topics really stuck out to me the most during the class, and I thought those were interesting. Because I say that because I don't know, I just had a connection when you spoke about those slides in particular. It was just very interesting how it was like a light just clicked on in my head when you started speaking about them. Because on the way to the mountain, like, it was so cool because just sitting next to Kevin, you know, and him just being him, you know, that was a cool experience because he had a lot of wisdom and knowledge, you know, passing it on to me, a young guy, you know, in the game. And I was just, you know, very appreciative of that. And then by the time we met, I mean, we got to the mountains, it was just like, it was just dope. Like, that part, the first part was just dope. I can't even put it into words at this point. But after that, when we left, and I want to say we went to we took a trip to, we just started walking the trail at that point. And we took so many pictures. Like, you seen so many beautiful, like, just scenery, like, spots in the mountain. Like, you'll see a nice little flow of a river, and then we seen that waterfall, and I was just like amazed by it, being able to just take pictures by it. And then after we finished doing that, that was cool too, because we were on the bus, and I think we went and got some food right before we went to go to the water. And I was saying to a few people on the bus, I was like, man, it'd be nice if we go to a crystal spot, you know, and whatnot. And come to find out where we were going, there were people there, like, selling crystals. They already had crystals for us by the time we even got to the water. And it was just like, man, it was just destined to be, you know. I ended up getting this stone right here. But yeah, that was cool to be able to drink the holy water. Like, drinking that holy water, I drank so many cups of that water. I wish I would have brought some back, but at the time I was just so literally thirsty, if I could use you know, just layman's term. I was thirsty to just drink that water, man. And when I drank that water, it was like a refresher, like new life. Like, I felt like the old me. I felt like the new me was coming. I felt like everything that it was supposed to be at that particular time. Like, it was just right. And just seeing everybody enjoying themselves and just happy to be, like, in the heavens was like a beautiful experience. And then after that,
okay, up in the mountains, I enjoyed all of it. The scenery, the energy, of course the picture. I like the group picture. I like the waterfalls. We walked all throughout the mountains, the upper part, the lower part, all of the beautiful waterfalls we seen. Some of it was a little bit scary because it was because, you know, our group was kind of big, and then there was other people that was also touring, so they were coming from different directions. And mind you, you're in a mountain, so some of the edges was kind of kind of narrow, right? So you had to, like, you know, some of the people were really nice. They were nice, and they waited till our group went by to the side and everything. And it was up there in the mountains. So it was, you know, I used to have a fear of height. So I got a little nervous on some of those walks throughout the mountain, the upper and the lower part of the mountains. But the most part that I saw was just looking at the top of that beautiful snow-capped like mountain. It was just really amazing, and just the energy there. We were looking for different stones. I didn't really find a stone. I don't know if anybody else did. But I noticed that some people in the group, they had their crystals. They had their crystal laid out in the sun so that, you know, the energy of Mount Shasta could, like, you know, just revitalize their crystals that they had. Some people, I even took my shoes off, too, to earth a little bit. And I think that did something for me as well. I had so much energy when I came back, Tony. I didn't even tell you this. Okay, so when I came back from my flight that day, it was like in the evening by the time I got home. So I was like, I had to drop off something at the mailbox. So I was like, I'm just going to take a walk because I was like lit, like with so much energy. So I walked around the corner. It was crazy because it was somebody standing outside of the house. And they called to me. They was like, Shasta, like Mount Shasta. I was like, excuse me. I was like, you talking to me? You say you so-and-so sister or something, so-and-so relative up the street, Shasta, right? I was like, no, I thought you was like telling me I came from Mount Shasta or something. It was just like that kind of like thing going on. I said, Shasta. I was like, did you know I just came from Mount Shasta? She said, no, I thought you were Shasta, like so-and-so relative up the street. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if they have anything to do with it or anything. It was just like I had so much energy I couldn't even sleep.
Just on the superhuman, session 6. So I'll have to try to gather myself and say, you know, what was the experience like? And the best answer that I can provide is I'm still experiencing. I came with unsurety of what to expect, but coming back home, what was amazing is one of the first things that I had done was look back at the flyer. That was the little flyer that was given out for people who had purchased things, and you always had those little goodies inside. So I was looking at that, and I remember how mystical the flyer was. And then I looked back at it, and it felt thin, but not thin in regard to paper, but in regard to what I was experiencing. With everything that we experienced, you could not actually put it on the card.
100%. 100%.
And it was just beyond what we, I think for all of us, what we expected and we experienced, and I'm still experiencing and still gathering myself right now in sorting what happened and how we were able to do so much. We had really the most incredible guide. We had a bus driver that once he started driving the bus, he became invisible. You didn't even know he was there. It was like amazing. It was like, he's like, well, you know, just for literal senses, I'll just take this human form, and then we'll be on our way. And so it was incredible. And it was, and then just the topics that we had. But one of the interesting things is that usually, I was sharing this before, is that people would have their groupings, and they usually would go through the whole event or whatever it may be together. But within this particular experience, we did a few minutes with one person, another few minutes with a different person, and it just kept going on. So we naturally moved along our whole group and shared lots and lots of beautiful information with one another. And I, for myself, for me, if I had to say what was the most pinnacle thing for myself, this, for me, was a rite of passage for me. I've lived a very compressed life, and very anchored to duties and responsibility, and those things which had prepared me for today or last week made the moment very special, because this journey was just for myself to go forward, and to being with like-minded, like-hearted, spiritually evolved individuals. I felt balanced instead of being either over or under situations. Here, whatever and however we spoke, there was a certain language. It was truly understood with one another. Though we all had different backgrounds and different experiences, we understood one another as if we've always been. And another wonderful thing that I looked at is that sometimes when you have a lot of different peoples, you would have conflicts. I don't know if there was even a smidget of an irk anywhere. I think we did very well with so unique people coming in and coming in to Sacramento. And going into Sacramento, I think this is what made it very, very interesting as well, is the polarity of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
In Sacramento, fear, aggression, grief, sadness, surety. We go to a different location in the same state, but love, community, sharing, and it was just amazing, because though Mount Shasta is a tourist location, we had a lot of people. Just as we were greeting everybody, they greeted us as if we were as if they knew we were always going to be arriving eventually. And the welcoming of it, and this is not hello tourists, it's like hello, we love you, I love you. This is a whole different, you just don't say this to any tourist or any individual. You have to have some awareness. So it's a location of high consciousness. And this is one of the interesting parts of this experience, is the polarity of what we did in coming into Sacramento. And people really will not understand that there was literally guns there. There were guns and military attire, and they were ready. And we were coming in, and we were coming in for a whole different experience. That was not what we wanted, but somehow it was something to allow us to know where we were within our hearts, within our minds, within our ability of what we have to get done for our journey in life, and where society is and where we need to be. And that's what it was. It was a journey collectively with the group and individually within each of our hearts. And we know that this can happen everywhere. It's just we have to make sure that we stay focused and in tune to the cosmic harmony. And I think, as I'm thinking and trying to sort my thoughts, is this is just a beginning for many of us to being at the same state of collectiveness, where we know that we can be supportive of one another, caring of one another, and truly being of one another instead of being separate entities. And one of the interesting thoughts that had came into my mind as we had that last conversation
Well, speaking on the first day, which was the class, I really enjoyed the conversation regarding the catacombs, speaking to historical facts, I guess, just because that was a lot of clarity for me on a personal level concerning history. But on a spiritual level, I did take some notes, and I wanted to have them ready. Just be aware of the energy that you surround we surround ourselves with, because we don't know if they're going to be working for us or against our purpose in this lifetime. And I'm trying to locate it. Well, let's see here. One of them was energy exchange, talking about energy exchange and how we should strive for less internal and external division, but recognize oneness in all. I really like that because it's a good reminder of the fact that there is energy in everything and we are all connected. But what I was speaking on just a minute ago was about regarding perception, and it was be careful of what you perceive of yourself or others. If your perception is off even a few degrees, this can be a difference between success or failure, or someone is using it against us. And that one was a big takeaway for me, because perception, like as you just said, even off a few degrees, can be the difference between success or failure. And I definitely agree with this, and I'm just speaking going off of personal experiences with my relationships with other people, and it's just the fact that I perceive them a certain way, and so, but I mean, my perception is not the reality of this person. It's just because I perceive them a certain way, and it's not until I perceive them a new way I can see them for maybe the true reality, if you want to call it true reality, for who they really are. But I'm just speaking of an ex relationship per se. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that was great. A great quote that I took away from, two great quotes actually that I really liked from the class. And then I had already mentioned the historical aspect of it, but the day 2 was just mind-blowing and amazing. I had never been up there, regardless of the fact that I live in California. I had never been to Mount Shasta and seen something so beautiful, so close. And just to feel the energy from that moment all the way to the waterfalls, seeing the waterfalls and feeling the energy in that area. And then the caves, I just felt there were just different levels of connecting with nature. And I wish it could have stayed longer, honestly. But no, it was just a great experience, and I just recommend it to everybody, because I want to go back.
And for the experience Saturday, wow, that I ain't gonna lie, I've been kind of like, I've been trying to gain, to fathom what actually happened. But I mean, you just told me, but I'm trying to see at what magnitude these changes are occurring, or is it gonna be a little by little change? Because that was an experience, man. Just to go up in the it's first was the breathing. The breathing for me was definitely intense in the beginning, but as we started going up and more further, it kind of started getting more easier and more easier, and it was damn, it's a different world up there. And then to actually see what was very surprising, to actually see the water that we drunk, and the filtration system in real, you get certain bottles of water I know they have the internal alkaline water, the other one is that Icelandic that we use, but to actually read and say, oh, it came from natural springs and stuff like that, but to actually see a natural spring and drink the water from the actual spring is 10 times different, I feel. It's 10 times different. That was definitely like one of those experiences that I could really let somebody know, like, boy, yeah, you drinking alkaline water right now. Well, you might think you're drinking alkaline water, but I've drunk water from an actual natural filtration system and purely alkaline that I can taste it. Like, that water was so pure and so clear and so like I'm drinking water where it literally tastes like I was like almost drinking a Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had water like that?
No, I never had water like that.
That's like almost like Dasani. Dasani
Okay.
is like one of those waters like that almost tastes like the company that serves it. Like it's it's crazy. It'd be full of bubbles and like it's like, why does this water? Oh, they say it's for minerals and stuff like that. But nah, you ain't finna just keep tricking me like that. Y'all out here serving bullshit water. I done taste the real water. And it's like, damn, you'll really get discouraged and like, damn. Because I almost got discouraged going over those rocks. Because I just didn't want to hurt myself. I just didn't want to like hurt myself in a bad way. Like, it was like the fear of just having everybody having to carry me, and it's like, nah, I don't even want to deal with that right now. But I made a way. I definitely made a way.
That's what's up. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. You know, it was a lot to deal with. It was a lot to go over. We all have to most definitely be careful. Otherwise, all of us, any of us could have hurt ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. But that was most definitely a wonderful experience. So let's explore a little bit. I've seen that, of course, when we was on the mountain, that you have. It seemed like you was going through some release. Now, many people were. I would say most of the group was. But since you're on the phone with me right now, I'm gonna put you on the spot. So it seemed like you was releasing a bit. Let's talk about that. What was going on, brother?
What you mean releasing? Or like when I was like meditating?
Yes, meditating, and I seen a flurry of, let's say, tears come down. You know, saying anything else?
Yeah. Well, okay, with the tears, I feel like I told Torn that, we be taking mushrooms and stuff like that, and when I'm on the mushrooms, I kind of get that way also, and it's me. I realize it's me being so grounded with Mother Earth that I'm kind of like getting her feelings. If I'm saying that right, like I'm getting her feelings, and one of the downloads I got one time when I was on the mushrooms was that I felt like Earth was in pain. Like it was like basically they were crying. You get what I'm saying? And it wasn't even like that. At that point, I feel like when I was in the mountain, it wasn't even really my tears. It was really like the Earth's tears, like the pain that the things that are going on within this world, but also another a joyous side to it too, like tears of joy that we have a collective of people that are willing to change what's going on in the world. You get what I'm saying? So I kind of like feeling was like both, because like usually when I'm on the mushroom, that tends to happen like where I tear up to the point where it almost looks like I'm crying, but sometimes it doesn't even feel like it's me that's actually crying.
So let me ask you a question. So let's go back to the class itself.
Okay.
What stood out to you the most? Because, of course, you came pretty much right when Section 6 pretty much started. So in Section 6, we talk about variances, the catacombs, talk about the witch and the oracle, and a few other little things all mixed in there. So for you, what stood out to you the most in Section 6, the classroom session, that is?
few things stood out to me. One, this was one of the most powerful classes because the exercises that you had us to do, they all ended up exactly the way that they were supposed to. I mean, I've never seen that before. You did several of them, and all of them were like just on point. And but we did have some disruption in the class. There was some negative energy there. That's one of the main things that stood out. It was like the interruption of the class, should I say. Sometimes you get people that come to these sessions that aren't there for the session. They're there to disrupt. They're there to prove themselves, prove something else to themselves. But yeah, that's a few of the things that stood out to me.
The thing is that I feel like the guys, everybody just took care of me. Everybody just embraced me. Z would not leave my side when we were walking towards the upper falls. He would not leave my side. Chris walked with me. When we were going to the caves, the young man from Florida, I don't remember his name. When I saw I had to go down, Cliff. So when I saw I had to go down that hill, I said, oh, there's no way. I'm not doing that. So he said, well, if she's not going, I'm not going. I'm not going to leave her here by herself. So then I said, well, I can't let that happen. So I did it. But, you know, just the fact that he was willing to stay with me. Conscious One, he was there watching out for me. It just, everybody embraced me, and I just felt like a family, like it truly was a family. And I've just been bursting. I wanted to tell you that so much. Even some of the ladies, the young lady I sat with, Avita, she was awesome. I thought it was amazing. I ended up sitting next to her in class and on the bus. I love Monica. I love her personality. Aisha, she was there giving me, because I had that cough, and she was, you know, giving me things to help me out. Like, you know, everybody was just awesome. I could not have felt more love. It was wonderful. But the other thing I wanted to tell you, to share with you, was that, and even now I'm still doubting myself and having to tell myself, stop doubting yourself, because I got on the airplane to come back, and from Sacramento to Charlotte, and I sat next to a young lady, and I just got, the energy I got from her was crazy. So, you know, first I said I might be coughing a little bit. She said, oh, don't worry about it. It's, you know, it's allergy season and, you know, whatnot. Just made me feel real comfortable about it. And I just kept getting this energy from her. And she was talking about traveling and just traveling. And I said, so you're not a nurse? She said, I'm a nurse practitioner. I said, get out of here. I just felt that from her. It was crazy. I had no way of knowing, but it was just the energy. And then on the next flight from Charlotte to Savannah, the gentleman that sat next to me, I just felt I didn't ask him because I felt I already knew he's a teacher. Isn't that crazy? You'll probably say no.
Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Well, what's crazy, more so than anything else, is that, as you said in the beginning before you said the story here, is that you should trust yourself. Yes, trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I mean, you're coming to superhuman classes. It's not even the first one you came to. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, yes, you were with your cosmic family. That's the reason why everyone was taking care of everyone else. And it's like, at least one person was looking out for someone else. Okay, at least one, and that was the entire group. It was a wonderful experience. And so, at this point, if you're doubting yourself, the universe has shown, or God, or the Creator has shown you what are possibilities, and also what's also the possibilities in the strength within you. So at this point, if you doubt yourself, that's all you. You know, it has nothing to do with nothing else.
That's all me.
Because you just don't want all you. You just don't want to fulfill your full potential for whatever reason, and that's the fact. You get what I'm saying?
How could that be?
Okay, that was it. What was the other question?
Okay, so the other question is, and this will be the last question, is what stood out to you the most on the tour itself? So we went to quite a few different places and everything else, and so what stood out to you the most?
The most? Probably the Pluto caves. There was definitely a lot of like alien energy there, something of another world, and I would say the whole idea of even climbing over the rocks and the way that we had to use our bodies to move to that area, it made me feel human, but then at the same time it connected to me. It connected me to I would say the mystery of nature, especially coming straight from the trails with such pure oxygen and so much like free flowing elements just coming through the air and walking through these spaces, and then going straight into the Pluto caves. It was just like it was a shock to my body and to my spirit. At times I felt like I wanted to get emotional in the caves, but it was kind of dark. I felt like I had to be strong for other people, so I just waited and just took my time in certain spaces. I would just take a pause. It was a really humbling experience too, going through the caves, especially the part where the sun seemed to be like following us and came through at one of the openings at the top of the cave, and it was shining down as soon as we wanted to. Cause it's those moments before and after you're about to take a picture that you're planning to post on social media or if you got like a blog or something like that. But it's this moment that forces you into that moment. Like it forces you to deal with that time and space. I guess in case it's like an adjustment. I forget what we were calling it. It was something else we talked about in the class too, where things kind of adjust themselves in nature, in space and time. Or I guess the nuances. It was like a nuance where where the light was shining in a way that you had to acknowledge that you were in that moment with the light shining on you before you get into the vanity of taking a picture, and thinking of doing whatever with it,
Oh man, where should I start? I start with my flight. For me, normally it's chaotic when I'm coming to a superhuman event, but this time around, it was smooth sailing, which was surprising. Now I did have I had to stand twice my way up there, but it was still smooth sailing. So we get there. It was of course it was amazing to see everybody once again, just to see the Meta family, and just to see everybody. So the experience through the class was amazing. I love to hear about pretty much everything that was there, but more so the people, the catacombs, and just everything that was there, the whole event was amazing to me. But Saturday, our bus trip, oh man, I just felt like, to be honest, to speak truth and be real, I've never experienced this with my own family, and I have a huge family. The love I felt with the people there, man, it was amazing to me, man. I never felt. I just feel like the people that's there, that was there were family, as if we were family in another lifetime. And the experience was great, man. It was grand, man. I came home on a high. I'm still on a high of some sort, you know, but I came back on a high, and everything was great, man. It was great. I can't wait to do it again. I know we got to do it again. Yeah, if you got any questions, ask me, you know, but yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the catacombs stuck out to you with the session 6. Did anything else stick out to you with that session before we ask you something else?
It was amazing how, to be honest, I grew up watching television with my mother, and every show, it was a character like the character that you displayed at Session 6 with the top hat or whatever the case may be, not to give away any secrets. But it was that same character. And I'm like, why does this character look so familiar, you know? And now I get it. Now I see, you know what I'm saying? It was all subconsciously brainwashing me or brainwashing people, you know, to, I guess, to serve these people, I guess. Because every show my mother watched or had me watching had a person that looked just like that. And then, of course, to see the children that they, pretty much the army that they pretty much, that came up, was just everything about the catacombs and what, you know, what shaped us, how we live in today, and how they destroyed pretty much everything that was around. So that was very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I want to know more because I know there's more, but we pretty much didn't go, you know, into it. But I know there's more.
Yep. And in the next session, that will be is already being cosmically formulated. So, you know, there will be a next session sometime in the future, and we'll be getting into other things, and so and more in depth and those things like that. Okay. So now going to the without, of course, divulging the sacredness that had took place. Out of the many things we did, what stood out to you the most on the bus trip itself?
On a bus trip?
Yeah.
How everybody seemed in awe, right? Normally, you will go on a bus trip with people, and you know everybody's pretty much doing their own thing, but we were in awe of just nature. Like everybody felt like they was felt like they was in one with nature. So we'll pass by, we'll get close to the mountains, and everybody was taking pictures and video recording, and then we was having our own, you know, pockets of conversation, and just the energy on a bus. I've taken many bus trips, and it was nothing like this, you know, nothing like it. It was great, man. It was great, man. I'm still smiling. I'm smiling from ear to ear right now, man. If you know me, I'm always high energy, but man, I just want to say I appreciate everybody that was there, man. Love you guys, man. Let's keep this journey going, and you know, let's keep moving forward. No matter what's going on in our life, continue to live your day to the fullest, like it's your last, and just, you know, let's do right.
Well, the first day, I definitely learned a lot of information. Some things I knew already, a lot of it I was kind of surprised to hear. Ultimately, I mean, I had a great experience. I like the fact that I feel like, you know, it's just with certain people that was meant to kind of be there, and like everybody else in the world was kind of just going through, you know, I guess I don't know, it wasn't kind of the beginning, but like I guess the most hectic points when everybody was kind of just, you know, on quarantine and all of that type of stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, that I felt like I was like in my own world and watching other people like in a different world or something like that. But definitely the people. And then Saturday, the tour, that was definitely something I hadn't experienced before. Prior to that, maybe the month before was my first time even, like, traveling, getting on a plane for one, and like, leaving Chicago and stuff like that. So, and it was just a different experience, me kind of being in that situation. Like, I always kind of watch stuff like that on TV. Like, I never imagine myself being in that type of environment and stuff like that. It was cool, definitely a spiritual place. It just was different, something I never experienced before. I feel like everybody there was like spiritual, in their own way. Yeah, but overall it was a great trip. Definitely, I recommend anyone to go to that place. Just because it was, like, soothing, definitely therapeutic for me just to kind of be in that space, being away from everything, and just being in nature. So.
Excellent. All right, so let me ask you this. So what stood out to you on Friday's session 6? So which included session 5 as well, but since that was your first time you could comment any of what stood out to you the most?
What stood out to me the most Friday? Probably I would say like the information I was learning. Like I kind of used to have like thoughts in my head about like certain people not being who I think they are and stuff like that. But for you to kind of tell me about it and then give me concrete evidence, it was kind of cool, scary as well. To like know that that type of stuff kind of goes on and you can be around people and you don't even know like if they got good intentions and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that kind of opened my eyes more to just people in general and just be more conscious of like just how people are and stuff like that.
Okay. All right, so now let's take it to the actual tour itself. If you had to only pick one thing from the tour itself that stood out to you, what would that be?
One thing that I think stood out the most that I kind of think about, it's not really a positive thing, but we went to, it was like the grocery store that we went to, and I was looking at it was like a board with like the different jobs and stuff like that, and it was a young man that was missing, a black boy. That stick out to me. Like, I literally see his face all the time, like, and I even feel like it was a reason for me to, like, see that, like, that's somebody that I'm interested in, even, like, spiritually to try to tap in and just see what happened and stuff like that. So I really feel like a strong reason, like, I went there was some kind of connection to the boy. Like, that's something that stick out the most.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's take it a step further then. Okay, so besides that,
besides that,
right,
let's stick out the most. What stick out the most besides that? Oh, well, when we was walking, I don't even know what name of that park was. I think it was like our second. Was it the second one or the third one? It was like the second one. We was like going up like rocks and stuff like that. It was like waterfalls, but I saw like I want to say it was a really huge fossil of a mermaid, and it's just like when I was looking at everything, the trees, I saw like auras of the trees. I just saw like a lot of spiritual presence, and then I just felt like that part used to be underwater, and I like turned my head to the right, and it was like a huge like fossil, and it looked literally like a mermaid. Like that's something that stuck out to me because it was kind of helping me with my intuition. I feel like I was hiding during that time. Like,
I guess for me it was the ending about the catacombs and all the pictures that came along with it. Just kind of opened up my eyes to what is going on, what has been going on for such a long time, and I wish we had talked longer on that, but just the pictures and what you said about it was really powerful. So that was really good.
Okay. And of course, you went on the tour, and for you, if you had, of course, the whole thing was wonderful, and we all had a wonderful experience. And of course, I'm sure that you've been thinking about it to go back again, and as well as I and many others. So, but nevertheless, in those, all that you experienced, if you had to pick one thing that stood out to you the most, what would it be?
Just going deeper, kind of felt like going deeper inside of the earth, and each level that I went down was like more like connection with, with the, with the rocks, with the universe. I took a lot of rocks with me, and someone took sand, and so I gathered a little bit of sand and brought that with me. Just the different things that went on in there was really cool. So yeah, for me it was okay.
Yes, definitely. It was if I knew about it, like if I didn't know about it and knew something about it, it would be a bucket list, but I'm able to have captured it and hopefully to jump on the next ones when they do come, or just any of the experiences the Meta Center is putting on, and try to get out to Chicago and the other places that you got planned for this year, next year. Being a spiritual person, it really even opened up more of a spectrum of different things. I felt the energy probably maybe like a half hour before we even got to the mountain. So many different things, and the variety of different people from different places, from Georgia and Philly, and the one guy, I forget his name, but the kind of the skateboard guy, he was really cool. We just had some different characters. It was really cool to kind of be in a melting pot of different different people, but it was really healthy, and everybody was cool. I really liked the one lady. I think she was from Savannah, Georgia, and she had the 2 surgeries on her knee, but she made the climb up the mountain the first part of the trip, and she was working through all that pain, and she made me toughen up a little bit more, because shoot, I was like, this lady's
definitely
got some more severe problems with her leg, and she's grinding it through. She was just a really nice person too, so it was just good to kind of feed off of her energy and her strong will. So it was good, and I think the timing, with the world as it is and all the different chaos, and just seeing Sacramento like that, because since I'm from here, I'd never seen it kind of in despair and boarded up the way it was. It was kind of, just kind of uncomfortable, but to get a good spiritual retreat and something to empower you going forward, especially in these times, makes it even more special, because people need a little extra or something to get themselves together and their mind right, and empower them in some type of way going forward. So I thank you very much. Let me go backwards, forward. The cost could have been 4 times even more than what it was, to be honest, because where I'm from, you could do wine tours just for a day that costs more than that. So even if it was even 4 times more, it's you're getting the bang for the buck. But it was super duper affordable at that price. It's like, it's practically for free. And so I was like, I don't think there's anybody even making any money besides the tour guide. But all these costs, the limo bus was top notch and comfortable with you can connect your phone and charge it. I mean, I know that costs a pretty penny. So the cost is like minimal to what you're getting. There's so many things that stood out. I mean, I was tripping just on getting the water out of the mountain, like having the most purest water. That was a trip. But even on Friday, the different little exercises you did when you did the like the earphones and the eye mask, telepathy. Yeah, that kind of blew my mind. So, but I was attracted to everything that was presented. A lot of stuff was new, or maybe some things you might have heard about, but when you hear somebody else explain it, gives it a little more proof or credence. So everything was very uplifting, and I thought we was going to have a lunch break, but it was like, no, we're not having a lunch break, so I had to run to the car, get my water real quick. But it's a lot of material, but you don't want to miss anything because, you might miss 2 minutes, you might miss something super important. So, but everything collectively is good to know, just to know, because some things might apply to you or some things might give you some insight to some future things or maybe even some current things, but you're not going to get this stuff off the TV. I mean, you might be able to get some things out of some books, but how would you know what books to go get that particular information? So, get it from a trusted source makes it, carries the weight. So I liked everything. I mean, the cave, that was like, it was kind of scary, but cool scary, but like adult scary. Just being like enclosed in this phenomenal carved out cave. And then I saw the 2 blackbirds on my way out. And I was like, where did these 2 blackbirds come from? And they weren't even like normal blackbirds. They were like maybe 2.5 times the blackbirds from my area. So I was like, are they on steroids or something? These blackbirds are huge. So I was like, oh, wow. That's that was when I was exiting. So everything was, even the tour guide, he was hella cool with his, he was a good, he was funny. And
excellent.
Excellent. He seemed like, he was super enjoying himself and the group picture, and then about the protests he did the day before. And I mean, he made it really, really fun and, laughing, joking. So it made it more, I don't know, it wasn't like, I'm getting paid to do this. Like, it seemed like it was beyond work. Like he was really enjoying providing the service and the entertainment and hanging out. Of course, getting paid, but it felt like he could have, like he would just sign up to do it anyway. Like he was just having a good time with our group.
Right.
Yeah. And plus, we were a little different than the folks out in that area, so it kind of added some, I guess, excitement or some newness for them. It was just cool all the way around.
Well, first, what I liked about it is, finally getting to meet, you and meeting a lot of the, callers that you hear call in. It was nice to, meet everyone and to be around, like-minded people. But what stuck out to me the most and what got my attention was, learning about the Matrix and just learning about, how I could better myself and also, learn more about what's going on in the society today.
Okay. So in that, of course, a person who hasn't never come to an event, this event, they don't know. But as I've said many times, is that this is information that you're not going to find on YouTube or anything like that. You know, it's something you have to come out to experience. Would you agree with that?
100%, yes.
So, let's see here. So what in particular stuck out to you? So let's say if you had to choose one thing of the entire class on that Friday, what stuck out to you the most?
Let me see. Mostly that I remember is you talking about the catacombs. Like, I just thought that was like, I was shocked. Like, that just shocked me. Like, because I didn't know anything about it. And then just the information I needed to do even more research. And then I had even more, personal questions about that. And then also, like, how you talked about balance and how we should always strive to, like, be balanced, in the masculine and the feminine in the society. So for me, I took that and I was like, I try to apply that to, like, my own life. So I just found that, like, really insightful. Oh yeah, I already got that feeling, and now I just want to go more. Like, at first I couldn't understand. I was like, where do people keep going? But now it's like I feel like, oh my God, I gotta go again. I now it's like even stronger. Before I was like, I knew I had to go. And I was like, I kept telling myself, okay, I'm going to go. And then when California hit, I was like, okay, no excuses. I have to go. And now that I went, I was like, oh my God, I got to go again.
That's what's up. Yeah. And so how can I, like, describe that feeling? You get what I'm saying? Like, I tell people, like, hey, this is not going to hit anywhere. If you're really on a spiritual journey, if you're really into metaphysics, this is the spot to be. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I'm not going to sell it to you. I'm not going to entertain you. It's just I suggest you come. And so you experience what that whole room full of people have experienced before,
Oh, yeah. It's definitely, like, I can't even put into words the feeling that you get. It's definitely like a strong urge.
Where do I even start? It was a beautiful experience for sure. A beautiful journey. Going there. Taking the plane rides. It was 10 hours. Getting there, I had to jump from plane to plane. Plane stopped working and all that, and it all, never deterred me. Never made me feel any type of way. Like, oh man, nah. Like, after through everything I went through, it was all worth it. So, but yeah, just start up, getting into Cali, energy was amazing. Body felt more vibrant. Definitely the land. It was first time for me going to California. The land was different. It's definitely some sort of ancient land. Just higher vibration, most definitely, because I couldn't really sleep, while I was there, full of energy. Man, it's just, I mean, I hope all the, individuals, who are within the metaphysics family, who live in California really, appreciate that, because, I mean, now I haven't felt that level of high vibration since I was in Peru. Like, that was absolutely amazing. But yeah, so went into the class, and class was excellent. You went over the session 5 stuff, and then you hit session 6. And so re-listen to session 5. Put more pieces to the puzzle together, which was excellent. More light bulbs went off, and then session 6, you hit us with that new info, saying completely different, I'm still meditating on a lot of the information because it was just so much to take in. But I absolutely, man, it was great. It was great. And so the following day, we left early. Take the bus ride. The bus was it was a great bus. The bus was good. Driver was great. You hooked us up. Tony, you hooked us up. That bus was really nice. You got all this stuff going on, in the world, and it was almost like we were just in some sort of like our own vibration, just flowing through. Everything was going smooth. In Cali, you got the curfew going on, but it was almost like us, superhumans all together. We weren't at all affected by any of that. We were, in our own zone. But anyway, so we were on the bus, we were going to Mount Shasta. Now, as soon as we got there, man, you could just feel the mountain just being alive, and and you could see everybody else was enjoying it too as well. We were all out there and doing our thing, and it was just amazing. Just connection, between everyone. Everyone was, cool. Everyone was authentic. A lot of times, sometimes we travel in different spiritual communities. It's a little overly just, love and light. No, it was authentic. It was cool. Everybody was flowing. Everyone, was talking to everyone at different times. It was really clicked. It was really nice. Really nice. But anyway, so going through the mountains and just feeling, the liveliness, the energy of Mount Shasta, and traveling through the caves. We was going through there, and everybody was pushing each other. Everyone was, just being positive, and we were just going in there doing our thing, and it was absolutely excellent, man. It was great. I just can't even put it into words how much I enjoyed that journey, but it was great. Stick out to me the most was it Session 6 info when you went through and showed us the pictures of the actual the soldiers and the people that basically came after the mud flood. That was pretty cool, seeing like that actual evidence of that. You don't see that. I can't just Google that. Like, hey, what do these people look like? And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, all right, yeah. That stuck out to me the most.
Okay. Okay, and on the actual tour, what stood out to you the most?
So on the actual tour, actually right when we got to the mountain, right when I got there, just feeling like almost like, when you kind of walk into a room and everyone was just kind of looking at you, kind of like when we got to the mountain, it was almost like the energy of the mountain was just like, whoa, like everybody just arrived. And I could feel it because there was like a void of energy when I walked onto the mountain, and it was just like, whoa, like, that was amazing. Yeah, I was like, man, that was amazing. Yeah, so that's what stuck out to me the most. When it was in the tour in Mount Shasta.
Across the world, and in traveling across the world, you've partaken in ceremonies and things of this nature. Now, we can consider this a ceremony, but one that we're not necessarily drinking any strange brew, but instead it's one of pure spirit, right? But when you got back, you had said something that your mate had said to you, and would you mind going into that a little bit?
Oh yes, I'll share. So when I first came back, my partner, she said that did I divulge in any type of, salvia or any, other type of psychedelic? Just, the way I was kind of talking and the way, I guess I was vibrating. What she was picking up on was kind of, I just came back from some sort of experience with psychedelics, but no, I didn't have any. I just, just more in tune with the Creator, and I guess, she kind of picked up on it, and she thought that, I, went to Cali and took ayahuasca or something, but no, it's just pure, just being in tune, and being more connected with the Creator. That's the best way I can describe it.
Make a smile for me.
This enchanted love of ours.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted love of ours. This enchanted love of ours.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.